Hello, Dell.
Hello, George.
How did you become interested in learning hypnosis?
Well, I was out practicing, having gotten a master's in social work, and it was time for me to do some continuing ed, and I began looking around for workshops. And the hypnosis one caught my attention. And I'll tell you, I think the thing, making choices at that time, I had this idea, and I think I was absolutely right, that there was something about hypnosis that seemed really creative to me. And that was my perception at the time, the biggest draw, and it has proven true.
When you were involved in your graduate program, did you receive any academic information about hypnosis or hypnosis training?
Sadly, I did not.
What were some of the key events for you that helped cultivate your interest in hypnosis?
Well, I think the training itself was very good. So I think because of that early training, it captured my interest enough and taught me enough that I, really felt like I could meaningfully begin to practice even in the simplest of ways. And then I was fortunate in Minnesota because there happened to be many involved professionals in my community in medicine, psychology, social work, and otherwise that had been trained in hypnosis and that were involved in a local organization. And so that was also very helpful.
You do have a gold mine up there.
I do indeed. That's in Minnesota.
When you decided to get involved in the training, do you remember particular events or teachers that really grabbed your attention?
Well, I remember in the basic training that I took, it happened to be at that time affiliated with a medical school. And I remember the self-hypnosis training, and to this day, I still remember the image that I chose. I have changed it since, but I remember that original image that I chose and focusing on the breath. So that's been memorable. And then Minnesota brought in an annual workshop educator every year. And so I remember Kay Thompson came. And then we had this was probably only like 5 to 10 years ago. We had quite a series. We had Ernest Rossi, then we had Steve Langton, then we had Jeffrey Zeig, and I think we had those three come up, each year consecutively. That was a really interesting series. Yes.
So imagine that a young social worker who is talking with you about why they should get involved in hypnosis. Why go to the trouble? What would you say to that person? What would you tell them?
Well, I would say both for the way what you have to offer clients and for the personal professional benefit. You get so much of both when you train in hypnosis. I think for clients, you give them more of a novelty of an experience through hypnosis, which I think captures their attention. And I think people learn better through experience. And as a psychotherapist, you can talk, but actually when you do hypnosis and you give people an experience of that, it typically is very memorable. It draws on, I think, a greater range of learning, their conscious mind, their imagination, their unconscious. So I think they utilize it in a way that's much more helpful. Many times when I have clients leaving therapy, they're going to cite to me some of the most memorable experiences, and they're almost always about the hypnosis. The other thing that's really wonderful that I don't think people realize in the beginning is how good you get with language and suggestion. So there's a never-ending font of learning. And so you can keep coming back. I've I've been training for probably about 25 years now, and I am as enthused about it. I think it has continued to keep me passionate about my work. And yeah, that's the thing. So I think it would be well worth their time and effort to go for that training.
Okay. Professionals have a lot of choices about where they can obtain hypnosis training and certification. What does training with the American Society of Clinical Hypnosis and membership in that organization offer the professional?
I think it offers a lot. When you get trained by ASCH, there are criteria for being trained, which I think is important. Everybody comes in with a certain level of training in their area. So in my case, social work, medicine, what have you. And then I think the training is excellent. ASCH continues always to improve their training. I am still surprised sometimes when I look through the basic program or the intermediate program, the people that participants get trained by are both often national and international in reputation, have been teaching and practicing for years. It's and take it very seriously in terms of really wanting to do a good job. So I think people come out with a solid sense of training, and then it offers a community. And people, you can come to ASH and continue to learn, but also have lots of colleagues to interact with, and many people find a particular person that mentors them. And, that is a whole nother way of learning.
Dell, thank you very much.
You're welcome, George.